Welcome to episode 573 of AI Brief. Today we are looking at Anthropic's final and honestly somewhat painful decision on their Fable 5 access. We are also breaking down OpenAI's brand new playbook for calculating corporate AI budgets.
That one is going to shake up a lot of boardrooms.
Oh, absolutely. Plus, we have a rapid-fire look at global AI moves, including the MLB officially cracking down on AI in the dugout, and a full roundup of today's top trending AI tools.
Looking at all these stories today, they really all center around this one, just massive industry tension. It is the race to build the absolute smartest models versus the stark reality of actually affording the compute to run them.
So let's start with the most glaring example of that bottleneck right now, and that is over at Anthropic. They are finally ending a month of these shifting deadlines for Claude Fable 5.
Which is a relief to users, honestly. The uncertainty was getting out of hand.
For sure. But the final decision is a tough pill to swallow. So Fable 5 will remain available on their Max and Team Premium plans. But the usage caps are being cut entirely in half.
Oh, wow. So you were paying the same premium price, but only getting half the access.
Exactly that. And for the lower tier plans, it is even more drastic. They are getting a one-time $100 credit, and then they are being moved entirely over to a pay-per-use model.
That is a massive shift in how they do business.
It is. Imagine buying a first-class plane ticket. Right. You pack your bags, you show up at the gate completely ready to go, and the gate agent just looks at you and says, "Great news, you can still get on the plane, but you have to leave half of your luggage right here on the tarmac." Oh, and everyone who bought an economy ticket. They are being kicked out of the airport entirely.
I mean, it sounds like a total logistical meltdown. But to understand why Anthropic is doing this, we have to look at the sheer unpredictability of this tech. They publicly admitted that demand was, quote, challenging to predict.
Which feels like corporate speak for, "We completely underestimated this."
Well, it means they literally ran out of physical space on their servers. They are frantically investing in more compute, but when millions of people ask a frontier model to do heavy tasks all at once, those GPUs just max out.
Yeah.
You can't just spawn a new data center overnight.
And their competitors are absolutely loving this, aren't they?
Oh, the backdrop here is just brutal. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman was actually on X openly mocking Anthropic's situation. He's posting things like, "Clarity is nice."
Ouch.
Yeah. And while Fable is rationing access, it is facing immense pressure from OpenAI, expanding their own GPT 5.6 Sol model. And at the exact same time, you have Moonshot jumping in with Kimi K3, just demanding a piece of the market.
Okay, so that brings up a massive question. While Anthropic is struggling to even provide access, OpenAI is aggressively changing the entire narrative on how companies should pay for AI.
They really are. They're trying to rewrite the math completely.
So let's break down this new playbook. OpenAI's Chief Financial Officer, Sarah Fryer, just rolled out a new scorecard for calculating corporate AI budgets. Historically, developers bought AI by the token, which is paying tiny fractions of a cent for every word the AI generates. But Fryer is pushing the industry to replace per-token pricing with a brand new metric. She calls it useful intelligence per dollar.
Which, if you are a CFO, sounds fantastic on paper. Her scorecard grades models on reliability, useful output, scale, and total expense. The argument she's making is that you shouldn't compare models based on how cheap their raw tokens are.
Because cheap tokens don't mean good work.
Exactly. You should compare them on the actual value of the completed task. To prove this mathematically, OpenAI used the Deep SWE coding benchmark.
And for context, that is a test that grades how well an AI can act as an autonomous software engineer, right?
Spot on. It tests if the AI can solve complex coding issues without a human holding its hand. And in their testing, OpenAI's Sol model scored 2.8 points higher than Anthropic's Fable 5.
Okay, so it's smarter. But what about the cost?
Here is the kicker. It achieved that higher score while carrying an estimated API bill that was 36.2% lower. Her point is that a cheap token that makes mistakes and requires a human to spend 2 hours fixing it is actually incredibly expensive.
Wait, hold on. I have to push back on this a little bit. Is grading models by finished work rather than token price just a really clever marketing maneuver?
How do you mean?
Well, think about it. Frontier labs like OpenAI have incredibly expensive models to run. They can't win a race to the bottom on raw token costs against smaller open source models. So by shifting the conversation to finished work, it feels like they're just justifying keeping their prices sky high.
That is a very valid critique. It is a brilliant financial narrative to protect their margins, even if the benchmark data backs them up.
Now let's zoom out to the broader landscape. Walk us through everything else happening in AI today.
Taking a slightly slower look at the global AI race, We have some major news out of the Shanghai World AI Conference. China's President Xi just called for shared global AI development.
So pushing against any single nation like the U.S. dominating the space.
Exactly that. He's pushing back hard against single-nation dominance. And to back that up, he offered 5,000 AI training spots specifically for developing countries.
Wow, 5,000 spots. That is a massive soft power move to get the global south into their tech ecosystem.
It really is. And it's causing some major geopolitical friction. We saw Dean Ball, who is an incoming hire at OpenAI, predict that the U.S. is going to actively scare domestic firms away from using Chinese AI.
I can't imagine everyone in the tech sector agreed with that approach.
Oh, they definitely didn't. Yeah. David Sachs, the former White House AI czar, absolutely slammed that stance. He called it a closed lab plot, arguing that walling off innovation based on borders just hurts everyone.
But while they debate the philosophy of it all, the physical infrastructure arms race is just escalating. Look at the compute deals happening right now.
The scale of the money is staggering. SpaceX is currently negotiating a multi-billion-dollar compute deal with the U.S. Department of Defense.
That is huge. So the DoD is renting compute from Google, Anthropic, Reflection AI, and now potentially SpaceX. It just proves that compute is the ultimate currency right now.
Absolutely. And going back to capacity issues, Anthropic is not the only one struggling. Remember we mentioned Moonshot releasing Kimi K3?
Yeah, the one putting pressure on Fable.
Well, they are now actively halting new subscriptions. The demand for K3 pushed them to their absolute compute limits. They literally had to split their memberships into separate chat and coding plans just to manage the load.
It is wild that these massive companies are just hitting physical walls left and right.
The power grid is the bottleneck.
Yeah.
But moving over to some of the new tech capabilities, Descartes just unveiled Lucy 2.5. This is a model that edits video in real time with almost no lag.
No lag. Video editing is usually such a slow batch process.
Not anymore. This allows creators to conjure special effects on the fly during live broadcasts. You can dynamically change backgrounds or add elements instantly.
I can see that completely taking over e-commerce and live streaming. And speaking of real-time strategy, the MLB is officially stepping in to regulate AI.
This is such a fascinating crossover. Major League Baseball is officially ending teams' ability to load their own proprietary programs onto the iPads used in the dugout.
So they were using predictive models to make on-the-fly strategy decisions during the game.
Yes, and the MLB is putting a stop to it.
It's amazing. Compute limits are bottlenecking the entire industry at the exact same moment that global superpowers and major sports leagues are scrambling to figure out how to even regulate the technology.
The tech is moving much faster than the rule books, for sure.
Well, let's transition from those high-level geopolitical and industry news stories down to actionable, everyday productivity. We have 7 trending tools today, and I want to provide a clear, practical use case for each one.
Let's hear them.
First up is Klumi. This is an AI audio editing and cleaning tool. So, the practical use case here. Say you hastily record a podcast or take a meeting in a noisy cafe. Klumi instantly removes that background noise and fixes the room echo, making it sound professional.
A total lifesaver for remote work.
Definitely. Next, we have CDO. This platform generates video, images, music, and voices all at once. So you could generate a complete multimedia social media ad campaign from just one single text prompt.
That is incredible.
Then there is Interior Aid, which does photorealistic room redesigns. You just snap a photo of your living room, and the AI understands the spatial depth, allowing you to instantly visualize a complete remodel before you go out and buy any furniture.
I love that one. The spatial understanding is key.
Sure. Moving to developers, we have Kimi K3, which you talked about earlier. This is Moonshot AI's powerful new open source model. The best use case here is running highly advanced private coding tasks locally on your own machine without sending your data to the cloud.
Which is vital for enterprise security.
Next is Canva Code. This introduces a drag-and-drop vibe coding tool. You can build a slick, interactive web element for a portfolio without knowing a single line of CSS. You just tell it the aesthetic you want, and it builds it.
That completely democratizes web design.
It really does. For the researchers, we have Inkling, which is Thinking Machines Open Weights Multimodal Model. Because it is multimodal, you can use it to analyze complex charts, heavy text, and images all simultaneously for deep academic research.
So it actually sees the data instead of just reading text.
Exactly. And finally, there is GPT Live. This is OpenAI's natural conversation voice model. A great use case here is doing realistic mock job interviews or practicing conversational fluency in a new language because it responds and interrupts just like a real human.
Looking at that list, it perfectly captures the evolution of AI. We have moved from simple text chat boxes into these multimodal real-time creative assistants.
Which perfectly brings us to our final thought for today. Today's news proves that as AI gets infinitely smarter, the true bottleneck of the future won't be software intelligence. It will be having enough physical power and silicon to let the masses actually use it. We might honestly start seeing AI companies transforming into energy companies or buying nuclear power plants just to keep their servers awake.
The physical world is the ultimate limit.
It really is. If you found today's breakdown valuable, please hit follow on your favorite app. And be sure to share this deep dive with a friend or a colleague who needs to stay ahead of the AI curve. See you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening, everyone.